What's good, y'all? It's Drew here, back with another video. Alright, so let me get right into it. But first thing is first, always, question of the day. Question of the day is, rank the Yonko according to strength. And when I say the Yonko, these are the people that I mean. I mean Whitebeard, Blackbeard, Kaido, Big Mom, and Shanks. And the reason I say that, you'll get later on in the video. But and obviously, if you're gonna rank Whitebeard, you can have Marineford Whitebeard there, and you can have Prime Beard if you want. But really, just those five. So yeah. But on to the video. So I was, watching one of my favorite One Piece creators, Shonen Showdown. So if you know them, if you know him, you know kind of content he makes. Obviously, check him out if you don't already. But he had a video dropped, and it was like a sort of collab. And in that video, they ranked the 5 Yonko. So it's kind of similar to that, right? And I made a post there. So if you want to go and check, you can go check. And I ranked the Yonko, the 5. And the ranking that I gave, I think I can remember off head, was if we're talking Prime Beard, it was 1 Prime Beard, 2 Shanks, 3 Big Mom, 4 Kaido, and 5 Blackbeard. And then obviously, if we're talking Marineford Whitebeard, I think Marineford Whitebeard was 4. So he was just above Blackbeard. And I'm not gonna say it wasn't like a huge thing, but a lot of people were like, what? Why is Shanks so high? What? Why is Kaido so low? And I was going back and forth with people, but I was like, man, you know what? I can't keep doing that. So what I'm gonna just do is make a video, because I've been meaning to make something similar. It's not exactly a response to that, but I've been meaning to make a video like this. The main concept of this video is that One Piece is all about perception. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. I can't remember what YouTuber got me hit to that realization, when he said it, it clicked in my mind. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name, it's escaped me right now. A good idea for perception, a good example for perception is always Whitebeard, in my opinion. Because, so we start the show, right? Let's just zoom forward. When we meet Ace, Ace is clean. Ace was my favorite character for a long time in One Piece. Ace is one of the cleanest characters in One Piece. But when we hear about Ace, it's not that Ace is super scary, it's not just that Ace is super scary, which we know he is. It's that there is someone above him, his captain, that's super scary. When Smoker sees him, he's like, wow, you're the second commander of the Whitebeard Pirates. Zoro's like, hold on guys, let's see what the second commander of the Whitebeard Pirates can do. And that's like, okay, so this Whitebeard guy, he probably nice. Ace, Ace asked Luffy to join him. Luffy's like, nah, that's not how I do things. Which is, we know Luffy's like that. But Ace was like, I might as well let him join. Ace says that Whitebeard's the greatest man he ever knew, basically. But this is the epitome of a pirate. So at the time, we didn't know Ace, obviously, but we knew Luffy, and we knew Luffy respected Ace, and we knew Ace respected Whitebeard. So obviously, that's a way that a lot of shows make you respect someone. You know what I mean? If you, I was rewatching One Piece for a long time, and early One Piece, if they wanted us to pay attention to a character or know that that guy was tough, they would compare him to Roger in some way. So Rayleigh, right? First mate of the Roger Pirates. Everyone's like, okay, this guy's nice. Okay, Garp. Before we even knew his relationship to Luffy, he fought and cornered Garp mad times. Okay, pay attention, guys. This guy's nice. Crocus, all he says is, isn't that right, Roger? And everyone's up at attention, okay, what is this guy? He's the doctor of Roger. So all they had to do really was just show us the relationship with Roger, and we were like, okay, this person's important, they're probably nice. That's just how good the groundwork for Roger was. So when we got the first introduction of Whitebeard, we knew off rip, this guy is crazy, because Luffy's big brother, who Luffy could never beat. We know how much of a monster Luffy is. Luffy couldn't beat him, that's Ace. Ace respects him like crazy, that's Whitebeard. So when we meet, when Buggy and Ace had that conversation in Buggy's shit, basically, and Ace falls asleep, and all Buggy's pirates are like, bro, if we kill him or defeat him, bro, we could get rich. We could be the biggest pirates ever. And Buggy's like, do not do that on any circumstances. I forbid everyone from doing that. And he explains Whitebeard as the crazy guy he is. What does he do? Compare him to Roger. It's all about perception. Now, I don't want to get off task, right? Pay attention to what Buggy says. When Buggy tells them do not go after Ace, he says Whitebeard is the most powerful man in the world without a doubt, right? Going up to Marineford, it was all about hype, right? And unfortunately, I didn't get the experience of watching Marineford live, which that definitely sucks. We all know that. But looking at like clips from like I've seen reactions like crazy about like those arcs. So looking at that, looking at people who actually seen Marineford like as it was ongoing and their comments, the hype for Marineford was crazy. So you gotta imagine. Let me twist the perception of Whitebeard to you. Let me explain the perception of Whitebeard to you, right? Whitebeard is this crazy man. We see when Garp talks to Ace, and Ace says, "Kill me." Garp says that wouldn't even stop him. He's like a demon. We see people that are praying to Whitebeard, basically, like, "Oh, I wonder what will happen." We see when Rayleigh's causing, when Rayleigh's doing shenanigans in Sabaody, and a Marine tells Garp, "Yo, let's go capture him." Garp's like, "Bro, we can't face them both at the same time. They're legends." So like we are basically like molded to know that this Whitebeard guy is crazy. It's how big his lore is. We see that even once you make him mad, once you anger his crew, that's what Buggy and Garp both said. If you even lay a hand on his crew, he's coming for you. And that's what makes the whole Ace rescue arc, the Marineford thing, so crazy, because the Marines knew what they were getting into. One of the biggest hype moments ever, obviously, is when they capture Ace and stuff, and Sengoku is just like, "Bro, if you are a warlord, you must come." Now we know how powerful the warlord, because Luffy had fought like 3 or so. Luffy encountered Boa, he fought Crocodile, he fought Gecko Moria, they encountered Ptolemy Kuma. So when Sengoku says, "I need all 7 of you, and if you don't come, you are no longer a warlord," that is not something that happens normally. It just does not happen that way, bro. Like that, this is a very, very unique situation. And you could tell because Boa's not used to saying, yeah, Boa's like, "I'm not coming." Or Boa's like, "You know what, I'm gonna still be a warlord, but I'm not ready to come." And that's how crazy. And then, they're like, "Bro, if you don't come, you're losing your status." And they weren't playing. We saw with Jinbei. Jinbei said, "I'm not coming." They said, "All right, you lose your status and we're throwing you an impel down." So, for a bulk of the pre-time skip, Luffy's enemies were warlords. And then to find out that the warlords, like, Sengoku's all 7, you need to be here. Or I have a problem here. That's just hype to Whitebeard, because it's like, bro, what the heck? We obviously knew that that PX9 and stuff, they were fodder in that battle. We saw what they did to the Straw Hats, just one of them. But it's like the hype for Whitebeard is crazy. Whitebeard is seen as like he's untouchable. Mihawk sees Whitebeard, he's like, "Let me test the distance between me and that man," because his lore is insane. He's the world's strongest man according to his title. I'm the world's strongest swordsman. Let's see which one gives. And the crazy thing is, Whitebeard doesn't even block it. It's Jozu. Jozu blocks the hoe, hits it right back. Jozu don't even feel a scratch. I mean, he did get pushed back, but that's it. He charges to the game, bro. Kizaru comes at him. This is Kizaru's a young admiral who we know is super, super powerful. We saw what he did to the Straw Hats, obviously. We know the admirals are one of the 3 fighting force. He comes at Whitebeard. Whitebeard doesn't move an inch. Marco blocks it. So it's to the level, it's like, bro, this guy is so powerful. He doesn't even need to move a finger. Is he this type of level? He's just above everyone? And like the thing is, he has such absolute faith in his crew that he's not even moving. Like, Marco blocked it. He didn't flinch. Kizaru blocked it. Kizaru attacks him. He's like, "Bro, that's bro, it's kind of shiny, bro. Can you relax? You cheeky brat." Like, bro. It is not until Scar stabs Whitebeard that Whitebeard seems human. Now, I gave you all that hype for one reason. To remind you how Whitebeard was portrayed coming into the war. Coming into the war, Whitebeard was seen as this monster, no emotions, not even human, all this crazy stuff. But we find out he's human. He has blood. He can get stabbed. He's vulnerable. He was able to be stabbed by his own crewmate, basically, with one of his underlings. Whitebeard was not as he seemed. Whitebeard was portrayed as this giant, crazy monster. Like, I'm talking super, super powerful. Hockey on deck, obviously, whatever that was at the time, right? He had he had the devil fruit. Oh, another hype moment, obviously, was Sengoku saying, he can destroy the world. Like, what the heck? He can destroy the world. So we knew he was a monster, but to come and find out that like he's not some crazy demon, he's just a strong pirate that wants to protect his friends. That's all about, like, that's the difference of perception with the Yonko. Whitebeard, I think, was the most prominent one because it's so easily seen, but I think people just don't notice it. Like, Whitebeard is crazy powerful, but that's just not what he seems like. Like he was not as he seemed, right? We saw that, he even cried when Ace died. Like, it's some serious stuff. You read the manga, you find out what with Whitebeard. Whitebeard did not allow Ace and them to go after Kaido, to go to Onigashima, to find out what's happening with Oden. Now, a lot of people slander his character, but I mean, people who know Whitebeard's character would know that that's how he rolls. Because, when Thatch died, he did not want Ace to go after him. He specifically said, do not go, I have a bad feeling about this. Whitebeard lost a crewmate. He was willing to sacrifice that if it meant keeping the family he already had. Now, you could say at one point Whitebeard might have been like that, because we see Garb talk about him like that. We see Buggy talk about him like that, who obviously was on Shanks' crew as a kid. Not Shanks' crew, who was obviously on Roger's crew as a kid. So that might have been how Whitebeard was at a time, but that was a that is a misrepresentation of Whitebeard as he is now. That is a different perception of him that is not necessarily true. And I think that's a theme that the Yonko have. A theme that One Piece honestly has too. Like, if you look at Luffy, right? Look at how people treat Luffy before they meet him. You could probably find the scenes where they're thinking of Luffy as like a 10 feet giant monster thing, right? No, Luffy's like 5 feet, maybe 6, maybe. He likes to eat, bro. He has fun. Like, people think Luffy's this crazy monster, especially now with his name being as big as it is. When they meet Luffy, they're like, bro, you're a chill guy, kind of dumb, but you're still super chill. So it's all about perceptions, bro. That's Whitebeard. Look at Blackbeard. People love the Blackbeard speech. JD Legend has been talking about the Blackbeard speech on Twitter for maybe a couple days now. And I agree, it's a really great speech. One thing about Blackbeard is all about perceptions. When we hear about Blackbeard, Ace describes him as this guy that basically killed a crew member. And that's like, we know that's like the greatest sin, basically. Because just imagine someone on the Straw Hats killing another Straw Hat. That would be like you're the lowest of the low to do some crazy stuff like that. So we know this Blackbeard guy, I mean, we don't know what we're expecting from him, but we know he's crazy evil. So when we meet this guy who seems like, when I watched it, I thought he was a good guy, honestly. He seemed like one of those he's like this old guy giving a speech. I respect it. When we see, Teach give that speech to Luffy and Skypiea, and he's talking about dreams never ending, he sounds like a good guy. He does. He sounds like a mad, good shonen guy. And honestly, even though you can count him as evil, the things he said, it's not what he doesn't believe in, so to speak. Like, it's about perception. When Blackbeard and Luffy meet with the cherry pie and I think it was like the soda or something, they both like one or the other. They both like one. I think one person likes cherry pie, one person likes the drink, right? It's obviously like a parallel with Luffy and Blackbeard, but we don't expect it. When we see Blackbeard walking, we find out he's the Blackbeard pirate. The perception of that is crazy. I'd say Blackbeard is one of the most unintimidating characters in One Piece when you first see him. Blackbeard does not seem like a scary guy when I seen him. He did not. I always seemed like most characters in One Piece are super buff, they're super strong. Blackbeard's fat. Like, he's legitimately fat. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm saying that's what he is. And if most animes do not like to size up character. If they want to size up a character, they'll make him buff. Blackbeard does not have the traditional archetype of a sized character. You don't expect him to be so good as he is, but he's basically the main villain. 90% of the One Piece fandom agrees that Blackbeard is the last fight, but you don't think of that when you first see him. It's about the perception of things. When we see Shanks' scar, obviously there were theories. I can't speak towards the theories. That was much before I was starting One Piece, but I don't know. When I was thinking of watching One Piece, I don't know who I was thinking gave him the scar, but I know who didn't give him the scar, who I didn't think gave him the scar, and it was Blackbeard. We knew he was obviously we didn't know he was a Roger pirate at the time because that was the same speech. So we thinking, Shanks is a cool pirate, so maybe he got it from one of the Yonko, maybe an old pirate, Roger, maybe. I'm sure maybe someone had a theory like that. I don't know. But the point is, you do not expect this Blackbeard character that seems like he's not that scary. Ace was, hanging with him, to give Shanks a scar, because Shanks is the epitome of a level to us. He was the first established character that's like, wow, Luffy, you got a long way to go. And obviously there were people, put in between that or above that or whatever, and Luffy, that you had to reach that, but Shanks was the first. So first to find out that, potentially the final villain, Blackbeard, gave Shanks a scar, before he got two fruits? How did that happen? Like, the perception of Blackbeard just changed every which way. Looking at Shanks. Shanks is an interesting case, right? Where Shanks is a character that we met the first episode, so we didn't have time to get this build of, perceptions. Like Whitebeard got a lot of perceptions, and even Blackbeard got, perceptions that ended up being changed. But Shanks is still a character that what he is, we don't even know. So we know that he gave the hat to Luffy. Everyone knows that. We know that he's a strong pirate. He's a Yonko. We know that. We know he gave an arm to basically arms to the new generation. We know he bet on the new generation. But with Shanks, the reason why coming into, let's say, episode 4, I think it was, with chapter 1. Obviously, it's on a shorter scale, but when Shanks first comes through, right, he seems this crazy guy, and obviously he loses his arm. But we're like, damn, you lost an arm. That's kind of tough. I mean, but you're human though. But then come to find out when Luffy punches the same sea thing, episode 1. Obviously, everyone's like, all right, something's up. It's not just, you didn't just give your arm. You're not just that. You're not that weak type thing. And obviously Shanks gives an idea I gave to the new generation. The perception of him is obviously to a degree, it's like, wow, you might think he's weak or something, but obviously, we see what he does later on in arcs, right? We see when he stops Akainu, we see when he goes to Kaido. But Shanks pulling up to the Gorosei, that's not something we would have expected. Because, Shanks, we think of him as a, he's a pirate directly under the tutelage of Roger, the mentor of Luffy. You pull him to the Gorosei. What you mean by that? Like, what are you doing? Like, it's a really interesting perspective, honestly. I honestly can't speak too much to Shanks because we don't know enough about him, honestly. Like, we don't know enough about his path, whereas Whitebeard, we got a whole character retrospective, basically, and same with Blackbeard. On to Kaido. And I'm not sure if we get that scene exactly, but we do know that he's known as the strongest creature in the world. And that's like right after Whitebeard dies, or maybe not right after, but like that's after Whitebeard dies. So you're like, wow, the strongest creature. And the announcer, me and my brother always make fun of it, but the way he says, he's like, Kaido. They say fights one-on-one, bet on Kaido, they say. So we see that this Kaido guy's an insane creature. Off rip, he's like this monster thing. He can't be beaten. I mean, he can't be beaten, but he's been captured mad times by the Navy. He can't be beaten, but he has a scar. So obviously fans are gonna theorize who gave him the scar, Roger, was it Whitebeard? Was it Roger and Whitebeard? Maybe it was Roger, Whitebeard, and Garp. We don't know. The Navy captured him, but it's like, who gave him the scar? Oden. Oden's cool, don't get me wrong, but Oden's not top 1 or top 2. And I was talking to some guy on Twitter, but no, he's not top 3 either. So when we find out that Oden gave him the scar, it's like, oh. So, I mean, he's strong. He's probably like super, you probably still top 2, top whatever in the verse or in the world right now. But you're not as scary as we thought. And that's kind of the idea that I think was kind of trying to be pushed. Especially, I shouldn't have done that, but especially with how he acts towards Oden, even in the present. We see the Scabbards, when they're even mimicking Oden, he's freaking out. He's like, oh my gosh, how can you do that? That's Oden's ability. Oden gives him damn near PTSD, just from slashing him one time. The announcer, bro, he's never wrong. The announcer literally says, if it's one-on-one, don't bet against Kaido. Don't do it. But Kaido would have lost the battle most likely against Oden. But, Kaido had, extenuating circumstances. Oden was distracted. It was not a fair fight. Kaido even has to admit this before killing Oden. And I'm saying killing Oden because I know Oden is dead, and I will not even believe for a second that that is not a true statement that I just said. So there we go with that. But it's just the fact that like Kaido is seen as this monster that, in a one-on-one fight, bet on Kaido. But he would have lost. We didn't see the full fight, sure, but we know Kaido believes it pretty much, and Oden believes it even. This was a good fight, and you messed it up. Kaido's always talking about dying and pain and stuff. It's all about perceptions and things. We see how scary and stuff Kaido is, and he'll never lose in a one-on-one, but he would have. So it's not everything is as it seems. Big Mom, coming to the show, Big Mom. When we get introduced to her, like her real stuff, Big Mom's this crazy monster, right? We see Big Mom is like devouring her son's soul when she was going crazy. Her first introduction to Fishman Island, she looked like just a monster. We know that. She was crazy. Big Mom In her flashback, we see that she basically bee-slapped a bear at like 4 and killed that hoe. So that joint was dead. She literally like destroyed the 2 best giants on Elbath at like 10 years old. She's this monster, and that's how she was described. But she was just a little girl. She liked to eat food, and she went, you know, she had hunger pains and stuff, and got angry when hungry. Sound like a normal human to me. She's just a lot stronger, right? But she really cared for like Mother Caramel and them, and like those were her friends. That's something that we did not expect with Big Mom, and you know she did eat those people, but you know, still, even now, Big Mom still cares for Mother Caramel so much. We expected her to be some mindless monster who killed and killed and killed her family. But you know what's something crazy about Big Mom? She might not know that she kills her family. She very well might not know. She didn't know she ate Mother Caramel and them because she was wondering where they went, right? She has the picture, which her one weakness, the only time she's ever been so much is, you know, got a scraped knee, is when the Mother Caramel picture was broken. And that was because, you know, obviously that's something that only the family would know. So, looking at the series, we have no confirmation that Big Mom even knows what she does. Because in her hunger pains, we see that she's not in control of herself. When she was really hungry and she smacked those Elbath giants, the 2 main ones, which was crazy, she didn't know. She just smacked them. She just was that crazy. So, people like to paint Big Mom as this crazy monster who doesn't care about her crew, but how is that the case? She, you know, now you can necessarily say it's not the most, you know, non-toxic family thing because we see how she treats Pudding, but she's never hurt any of her crew members. She's relatively, I'd say after like, you know, Whitebeard and Shanks, she's probably one of the better captains, right? Because she's chill with it. You know what I'm saying? Like she's not. We did not expect her to be this coherent. Look at on the rooftop. Big Mom is using this. She's thinking with her brain for sure. But when she was first introduced, we were not expecting that of her. We were expecting her to just be this mindless monster, and she's not that. All the Yonko, when they were introduced, or at a certain point in time, it's about perception. We did not expect them to be this way. We did not expect Whitebeard we did not expect Whitebeard to actually be human. I mean, we obviously thought, you know, he's human, but it's like you're immortal, you're touchable. Like Whitebeard had this portrayal of like a god, and when Squard stabbed him, it really put into our head he's not like that. He felt sadness he wasn't even angry at Squard. He felt sadness that Squard would be like tricked like that for his son. We see all the emotions that Whitebeard was going through. You know, he stopped Squall. He said, why would you want a father to see his son die? We saw how he feels with Ace. When his children are just being in trouble, we see how Whitebeard is. He's a family man. Even Blackbeard, Kaido, we see these characters and they're not as they seem. And I think that's really a really important concept in One Piece that people fail to understand. So when people say Kaido is the strongest like creature in the world, I'm not saying it's necessarily a wrong phrase. You have to wonder who gave him that title. Was it the people that fought him? Was it like the Rocks or Garp or Shanks or Roger? Or was it people that didn't know him? Or was it people that saw Kaido smashing all these other people and they're like, wow, he's never been beaten. Bet on Kaido. Because the thing with the title is it has to come from somewhere. People were calling Whitebeard, the most strongest man in the world, which it probably is very well true. But the thing is with the Whitebeard thing is they got that because they saw him being that man at that time. 20 or so years ago, he was this man who never let a crew get hurt. Even if you hurt him and killed him, he's still coming for you. But we see in Marineford that's not Whitebeard. Even with the Oden the Oden stuff when Ace trying to go after him, that's not Whitebeard. That's the Whitebeard that Garp remembered from a certain time period. Because if we're looking at the Whitebeard that Garp was talking about, now even if you killed a Crawmad would go after, Whitebeard would have went after Oden. You would have went back to Onigashima or went back to Wano and found out what happened and caused a ruckus. He would have run amok up in there. But he didn't. Because at that point in time, the Whitebeard that everyone perceived and the Whitebeard that existed were different people. Whitebeard at that point in time valued the family he had over fighting over a dead son. Because he's like, I have nothing to gain. I can't save anyone. In fact, I'm very certain if Ace had died before Whitebeard pulled up, he wouldn't have stayed there. The thing with the Ace rescue arc that was so important was that Ace was alive. The biggest difference between him going after Ace and him going after Oden was Ace was alive. Whereas Oden, he knew Ace was alive and he did not know if Oden was alive. So having to risk everything for a dead man for revenge, it didn't make sense. He knew Oden had died, but it was over. He's dead. What am I saving? I'm just causing revenge. I'm just doing this for revenge. I'm just causing chaos in a place that my son Oden wanted peace in. I have nothing to gain. And I think with the Ace thing, it was almost enough is enough. There is a good chance that Whitebeard still would have pulled up if Ace had died, but I think that was all about perception. That would have been to keep the image, so to speak. I'm not saying we know Whitebeard's a super powerful Yonko. He's one of the pridefulest, honestly. But you gotta remember, at that point, he didn't go after Oden when Oden died. Kaido, was able to do that with no repercussions. He didn't go after Blackbeard when Thatch died. Ace had to. If he didn't go after Ace and Ace died, that would be 3 commanders on his crew killed with no repercussions. And I don't know if his entire crew would be on board with that at that point further. I think at that point, people would look at Whitebeard and would be like, oh, okay, you're really not what you seem. Because coming into Marineford, a lot of people didn't know that. A lot of people did not think Whitebeard had fallen off as much as he did. Even Marco didn't believe that. Marco was surprised he was getting stabbed. He was like, wow, a couple years ago, the Whitebeard that I knew would have been able to eat that, basically. But no, he didn't. He was stabbed. If Whitebeard doesn't go after Ace in that point in time, then I think some of the Whitebeard pirates would start feeling kind of like, wow, can we trust you anymore? Like it's over for you, Whitebeard type thing. Now I'm not saying that they would do that, but I'm saying like he had to prove to the crew that he's still Whitebeard. I'm still going to protect my crew to the best of my ability, even if they're dead. But it was just a prideful thing at that point. So when we look at the Yonko, you have to remember the difference in the perception and in the character. And I think some of this Kaido is top 1 Yonko is perception, because you can even look at the interaction between Big Mom and Kaido. Big Mom gets memed. I never said she did not. But when Big Mom talks to Kaido, we know who's number 1. And someone did say, maybe it's how Big Mom talks to the crew, but it's not just that. We see, Kaido's like, bro, don't pull up to Wano, I'm gonna kill you. Big Mom says, I'm not asking you to pull up to Wano. I'm telling you, I'm pulling up to your crib, and you're not doing anything about it. And Big Mom pulled up to Kaido, and they're just talking. And during the conversation, Big Mom says, bro, you a kid. I gave you your fruit. You're not nicer than me. Like, there's a difference here. Look at when Big Mom and Kaido are talking. We see who's the superior one. They're fighting right now, and look who looks better in the battle. Big Mom does. Now, people are going to say Kaido's on his hybrid form. That's fair. But I don't think Big Mom's going to allow it. Do you? Because I really don't. Now, obviously, you can definitely say that they're not targeting Big Mom as they're targeting Kaido. That's true. But even if they did target it, even when they have targeted Big Mom, which they've targeted her a couple times, they haven't hurt her, not yet. Whereas I think not every attack, but everyone on the battlefield has pretty much hurt Kaido. No one's hurt Big Mom yet, not at all. So when Big Mom gets this slander and she's put so low because she gets memed on, that's true. Oda does meme her, and that's probably a big problem. Oda does definitely meme her, but just remember that when the battle's happening, look at Big Mom and look at Kaido. Shanks is a lot of slander sometimes. People saying he should be 4. Someone said swap Kaido and Shanks. Honestly, I don't believe so. In my opinion, looking at Shanks and what he's done, he earns the number 1 spot. Now, I mean, if you want, yeah, I think he earns the number 1 spot, not including Primebeard, obviously. If you talk about Shanks' arm, I'm gonna just assume we just troll him. So I'm just alright, we're done with that. But when you look at Shanks pulls up number 1. Blackbeard sees Shanks and says, "Whoa, I'm not ready to fight you yet." That's after getting 2 fruits. He was confident enough that he could beat Old Beard, and obviously I do have Old Beard weaker than all the current Yonko, but Old Beard is still Whitebeard. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's still nice. But Blackbeard, after getting both fruits, said, "I can't beat you." Said the same thing to Akainu, we know that. But Shanks wasn't, he didn't just, come from the crib. He didn't just come from the house, drinking hot chocolate when he pulled up to Marineford. He went to Kaido's crib. And if we know anything about Kaido, we know Kaido does not solve any problems with just words. I've never heard him do it. Well, obviously, he might be able to do it once or twice, but Kaido is the kind of man that once he decides what he wants to do, he will do it. And that's not, obviously this whole video is about perception, but it's not just a perception thing because we've seen him currently do it. Kaido does not ever bother to tell people stuff. When Louis was charging him, he was like, alright, I'm gonna eat that and now you're gonna have to take one of these Thunder Bagwas and then it's over. Kaido does not solve things with words. Kaido's whole thing, his whole shtick, is all about overpowering your will and making you subservient. That's how his crew basically is like formed, and that's how he does things. He tried to do it to Luffy and Kid, but Luffy and Kid, they had the conqueror spirit, and so they were not able to be controlled as easily as another pirate would be, So when Kaido decides he wants to go to, to Marineford to maybe, kill Whitebeard or destroy the Navy, he's not coming to have a tea party. He's not coming to talk. Kaido's coming to destroy stuff. And when Shanks stops him, we can infer what Shanks did, but I know what I think Shanks did. Is stop Kaido. And it's not through a tea party. They fought. Shanks pulled up unscathed. Obviously that, you could say it's headcanon or portrayal or whatever, but based on how we know the two characters, that's how they would be. Shanks definitely would try to stop him with words. But the only people that I've worked on are Sengoku and pretty much the Gorosei, who are really understanding people. Sengoku's relatively understanding. Sengoku can solve problems without a fight. So can the Gorosei. Kaido cannot do that. So when Shanks says disrespect, just remember that he's not a joke. Now you're gonna say Blackbeard scratched him pre-two fruits, but we don't know what happened there. And Blackbeard, as we know, Blackbeard is not what it seems. Blackbeard is not what he seems. So anything with Blackbeard, I'm gonna just say if we didn't see the battle or we didn't see what happened, just go with a pinch of caution there, because when you see this Blackbeard theory and you are on my side, you're gonna be like, oh, but I can't speak too much on that. This is gonna be a long video. Obviously, you see it. It's just a long video, but I hope I portrayed what I wanted to portray in this video. I might have to make a part 2 depending on if I really tackle the points when I go through everything. But it's looking like it's pretty good. I think I portrayed what I wanted to portray to you guys. But one of the themes in One Piece that I think people tend to miss is about perception and how things are not as they seem. So when we get a character and they're hyped to a certain degree, and they're this crazy monster and stuff, and all that stuff, just remember that who's telling this tale? Are we sure that's how they are? You just gotta know. So let me know what you think about the video down below. But I'm out. So peace.